Hi, this is John with the Infosheets.com, and I'm going to talk about our customer database. It's available for download from our website, and it's immediately once you do the purchase. This is a database designed to hold all of your customers' information, as well as what you've done for them, and then generate various income reports, an appointment book, and search navigation, and even mapping function, and emailing invoices. So it has just about everything your business might need, whether it's a retail business or an actual invoice base after the fact entry. So let me just walk you through it relatively quickly, and then maybe I'll expand a bit more on it as I end. So let's say, for instance, your business is a carpet cleaner. We notice that we just have 4 rooms and a hall typed there, and we have nothing under the expanded area. If you're a hair salon, you might put your technician's name as the description, because that description is actually income filterable. So we can filter it by our technician. So let's see. So we have a drop down with some ones that I've entered, which you will of course enter your own, and I'll show you that in a moment. But once that that technician is chosen, we can then use our UPC scanner and bring up a product, or we could actually go ahead and look in our products and go ahead and select a product, or we can actually go for items that Micah does that doesn't have a UPC code or our products. And all of those are updating our total charge, and because we have an amount paid already, it's showing there's a negative amount. Let's actually, rather than correcting that, let's just go ahead and delete a few of these away. Alright. Now if our auto repair guy, he has a different situation in that he uses an hourly rate as a drop down. And now we can use our quantity to express our hourly rate. So we can have 5 hours, for instance, and it changes our total. If we did 5.2, it would also change our total. We can choose taxable or non-taxable. Our products, when we enter them, we can make them default to whether they are taxable or not taxable, but you can override. So you can click that, and you're going to set your tax rate. And if we just look at this top line there, you can see that it's changing the total charge. Our plumbing has another situation in that he has, in his parts, he has selected, let's reselect this on parts again. He has selected various pipes. Alright, so we can enter 12 feet of that, and you can see that the 12 feet of 3/8 inch brass pipe at $3 a foot, and it's calculated through. So you can see that even in situations where it's an odd thing, because how do you express every foot of pipe in your product? And the answer is you do a quantity. All right. So whether it is this type of business that that needs to have a retail and they're meeting you face to face, or it's the carpet cleaner. Now let me show you a simple invoice-based business, and many businesses don't even mess with the description, the products, all of the amount, the charges, the amount paid, and all of that. They just want to be able to enter what they did for the customer and store it. And that might be an example of the carpet cleaner. He goes to a home. He does 4 rooms and a hall. I'm just going to duplicate what's above it, but you can imagine everything he might do that is a little bit differently. And notice that I just clicked. I didn't type. Or maybe you think I type extremely fast. I didn't. When I finished the total charge, I moved over, and the amount paid matched. That was made to be very quick entry for that data entry girl. And the completion date, if we chose today, it's just going to match. We can disable that if your accounts receivable type business, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But it's made to be very quick entry. Now let me go back and show you what this show button means. Basically, whatever we click on is going to show on an invoice, and these are our various invoices for that customer. We have. So whatever invoices we have, and there's about 6 of them, we can view, print, save, or email. So all 6 of them have 4 functions, so essentially 24 different types of things happen without getting complicated on the screen. So this is made very easy to use but extremely powerful. And you'll also see that in our other reports that I'll show you in a moment, that they're very easy to understand without getting complicated. So let's go ahead and view that invoice. You can see that there's one that has no paid, and they've paid 0. If there was a partial payment, it would show a partial payment. And we can see that they have a due date of 6/9. That's 14 days after the completion date of the job that they owe you on. Okay, so it's all done for you, and this will be your customer information. I'll show you how to enter in a moment. All right, so we can view, print, or save, but let's go back to our business that is the hair salon. You've clicked on that, and maybe you decided to change whether it's taxable or not. Maybe you've decided to change the quantities. Okay. Whatever you do is going to update, so it's no problem to do it after the fact. If you have a discount, go ahead and enter it. Okay. All of that can be calculated out, or change it back. So there we go. Now let's go ahead and print a receipt. So let's go to a receipt printer, and let's go ahead and select the 80 millimeter. And in order to print it, first we're going to set what printer we're going to use, because we don't generally want to use the default printer, which is the full 8.5 by 11. You want to set a printer as a receipt printer. And this happens to be my printer, the Star TSP 100, that has a cutter. And in the future it'll use that, so we don't have to set it again. So now we'll close it. Now it's set for this. So now when we hit the print button, we're done with the job entering. We want to print it. And that sound is the receipt printer going off. So you can imagine how fast that was. We scanned or categorized to bring up our products, and then we changed our quantity if needed to. And now all we had to do was hit print. So very easy to use invoices, and let me just walk you through the different invoices we have. So invoice detail, let's go ahead and click on a few so we see. We can see that's how our invoice details look like. So our quantity of our hourly rate for our auto repair was showed 5.2 times 65 per hour. Okay. Our plumbing, our brass pipe times feet had 12 feet, so the extension was $36. And our hair salon showed what they did. And so this is evidently someone still owes us $28. I must have not collected all of our money. Ooh, sorry about that. Let me pop it back up. So which one owed us $28? The auto repair. All right. So, but it's nice that it showed us that balance. Now, let's see, what was I showing you? I was showing you the invoice detail. Let's go ahead and click on a receipt full size, and we'll do that for Micah in case you don't have a receipt printer. Okay, so that might be a full size. You notice that it doesn't have an add-in to set a different printer. The add-in printers were only designed for the receipt printers because it's an oddball situation, and most of your reports won't be going to that receipt printer. In case you didn't notice, I shrugged that I closed it instead of doing that, grunted. All right, so now let's so this show button allows you to print multiple on the same page, and again we can view, print, save, or email. Let's go ahead and send our auto repair one and go ahead and go to a receipt full size. And now we showed what it will look like viewed. Printed will print that in quick button. It doesn't open up a print dialog, it just prints it. We can save that in any format we want, including an Excel file, which is very popular. Or we can email it. And that'll open up your default mail client and attach it to the email. Now this is Thunderbird, and it put in her email address, this customer's email address, gave a subject line of the current invoice from, and then your company name, and then the invoice is attached. If I double click on it and do open, you can view it. It's basically the same thing as what we hit with the view button. I would advise people to put a signature line when they design their Thunderbird, and the signature line, so that you can just hit send and it'll be done. You can even, I've heard, put a payment method in your signature line. So that will make it very quick for you to get paid. All right. So that was to view, print, save, or email 5 different invoices. Now for the things that are going to store your information for you. One of them is, this is where you put in your company information. And you saw that I mentioned I was going to tell you how to disable that automatically inserting the paid date to match the completion date and the amount paid to match the amount due. Just declick that, and that'll stop doing that for you. But for most people, it makes it type 2 less boxes, and it'll speed things up, and speeding things up means you make more money. This is where you put in your company information as well as set your tax rate. Let's close that. Now for the first drop down, now that was sortable information. Let's go back again. This first drop down is right here, and these are going to be sortable by your income in your income statement. So for that reason, the hairstylist selected her technician name. You might do the same thing if you choose to. If you don't have a situation, if you want to be quick entry and just type it across, do that. But that's your description. What you will probably want to do is just highlight them and then hit the delete key. I'm going to hit no, and then enter your own. Okay. Now categories. Basically, when we drop these things down, our products that are in those categories show up. So you would just pick the categories that you want different products in. Finally, our products, and you can see that we can choose any different category that we just entered in a drop down for our different products. Let me go ahead, and I also showed you how, for instance, shipping might be one of our drop downs. So let's go ahead and choose, I don't know, parts. And I'll say doorknob. I'm going to enter a product here. And for using the UPC code, just have a scanner. They're only about $30. They attach to a computer as a USB. So a USB scanner. And what it does, it just collects the number for you and does a carriage return. It's just like typing it. So if I had typed it, it would actually do the same thing. It's bring that product up. Choose whether it's taxable or not. Enter the amount, and we'll say $12. And you've just entered another product in the parts drop down. Let's close that, and let's actually look at that. Go from mica. Category parts. Now doorknob. There we go. Now we have the doorknob there, and it's $12. Okay? Let's go ahead and delete that out. Alright, so we've gone through all of our editable information. This is stuff that we're going to save for our business. If you're an invoice-based business, you might just type on the first line and skip that, except your company information. A big thing is importing and exporting, and when I first made this database, like many databases out there, I didn't have the ability to import or export. But now we can export every one of our tables. Now tables are basically where data is stored in a database. You don't really need to know that much, except for the customer table is separate from the information below. They're linked. That way we can have 1,000 transactions for a customer. We can have 1,000 bits of detail for each transaction for a customer. So if we didn't have that, we would have to have 1 million boxes for you to enter. So they have to be linked in this way. So the customer's linked to the job, which is linked to the job expanded, and you'll have to export all three of those. These other things, your company information, your help table, your products list, you might also choose to import or export if you need to. For a full import and exporting, please look at my video. It shows you how to do it properly. But if you clicked export, that's all you have to do, and it'll export that table. It'll make a copy of your current table for you. Backup, I clicked it and it's done. It's created a backup with your date. Now this is a full database. It's not any part, so it's not based on the drop-down. Everything that's in your database. In fact, it's independent. It can be run from the file it just created. So you don't need any program or anything. It's a fully complete thing just by clicking that, because this database is quite small and efficient. Alright, I'm going to show you how to open that and view that in a second. Finally, we have our reports, and these are, again, I showed you they were very date filterable. Our appointment book, we have a period of time. Let's go ahead and view that, and we can see that all of our appointments for that time period are showing up. If we had it based on today forward, we can see all of our future appointments. We can view them, we can print them, or we can save them. And save gives you every different type of save format, including Excel files. Our income and sales tax, again, date filterable. We can view all of the people that have paid us. If there is sales tax being collected and you have to make your quarterly tax statements, it'll show you the total tax for that time period. Just specify your quarter in there, and it'll show you that. Our next one is income by category. Income by category is what I mentioned, is that we can basically look at a particular technician, and we can just see the income that they've earned for us for the day. And this might be a very good way of seeing what this technician has done, and we might pay her 100% of her non-taxable amount and 2% on the products that she sells. I don't know, however your business works. But it's a good way of giving you, and it'll list them all that she's done, even if it's in multiple clients. Okay. And then finally, our list of customers. Our list of customers is a very good list in that it includes all of the customers and everything, all the summary lines that we've done for them. And it could be 1,000 pages or 1,000 customers fairly easily. So generally we don't print that. What we do is we save it. If you save it as a PDF file, PDF actually has a search field, and you can actually search for anything matching. And I actually keep a copy of this PDF on my phone so that I can bring up my clients out in the field and see what I've done for them. Very useful report. All right. All right, so that was the bottom line. Let me walk you through the top line. And I mentioned we have the first button will find this customer's address on Google Maps whenever your default browser is. I think I clicked that too many times. Yeah, it opened twice. All right, so there's our client's address, and that happens to be a city hall. She must be very well off. This first button is to add a record, or actually this first button is to save the record. Now generally whenever you navigate, and you probably notice when I type things in, I move the cursor over after I'm done. Whenever you navigate over, it saves. So that's an automatic. But many times you might want to just hit the save button, and that accomplishes the same thing. It moves the cursor off the screen and it saves it. The first button is to add record, and that just brings us to where we might type in a new customer. Okay? And then once the customer is entered, you can start typing in a charge. The next button is the search button. And say we want to find Miss Brown, which is our only customer. You notice that it says company, and that's because the cursor was in the company line. Change it back to the entire database, customer, and any part of field, and it'll be the best search unless you have a very specific thing you want to find. But this will find the name Brown anywhere. Brown's Electric, Brown last name. If we were to have it selected in state and did the search button, and it's still doing that. Oh, there's state. So if you wanted to just look in state for something, you can find it that way and might narrow your field even more if you have lots of things named the same. All right. The next button is the delete button. And I'll just go ahead and click it and hit yes. That was that new record that I entered. This takes us to our first record. This takes us to our last record. This takes us to the preceding. This takes us to the ones following. This is our print button. That is a print screen button, but I've made it print a printable screen. How many times have we printed the screen and it's on 6 pages wide and multiple colors? So it actually opens up a more viewable print. So this is a print and run type of thing. So maybe you have 3 clients for the day and you want to see what you did for them in the past, and you'd rather have a paper copy than looking in your phone. So you can take this with you. All right. This is an editable help file. And I made it editable so that you might change it, but you can basically type over, highlight, do whatever you want on it, change it to have the wording that you want. That's why it gave you that option to export that, because it's actually in your database. All right, so that takes us through everything. This database is a full, complete database. There's nothing else to purchase. It's $50. It's very reasonable, and it doesn't require custom design from you to be working in your business. So it's a very good database for any of those businesses that I mentioned that are invoice-based or customer-based that are face-to-face. Obviously, you wouldn't be doing it for a grocery store where you had to type in every customer's name and information. But as far as an auto mechanic that's repairing a car, and sometimes in this, if I was an auto mechanic, I would probably use the description as Ford F-150 here. And then the pop down, I would show what I did for the Ford F-150. So I really wouldn't use pop downs here for a mechanic. You can see, you can figure out how you want to use it yourself, though. I'm not looking over your shoulder. Let me show you how to install it, and then also how the backups work, and how you might edit a backup if you're giving it to a data entry person and put back. Okay? So let's go ahead and close it. So when it's first installed, it creates a folder called the Infosheets in your documents. And in that folder, you can see that I've created a few Excel files of our database. This is our customer table. And it installs this file, and this link opens that up. This button here opens this file, which is that self-contained database. In some of the other videos that as I was recording, I made a few others. So let me go ahead and delete these out. So in our backups, whenever we clicked a backup, we made another one. So what I would normally do for having a data entry person is I would give her this file. She'd open it up. Let me see. Did I double click it? There we go. She'd add her data into it, and then I would drag it back into this file here, and then I'd rename it to be this file. Let's rename this one to old, and then rename this one to be this file. And then it'll work with our button. our cursor here on the screen, and it'll open that file again. So basically your backups can become your primary. You can open them without the button if you want, or you can put it in the exact same file with the exact same name and have it open. All right, and it's not unusual to have, if you back up every week, you would have 52 of these backups. So it's very useful. Now for the installation. When you first get the folder, it's downloaded from our website as a zip file. You'll right-click on that, and you'll do Extract All, and you'll get an open file. And it just has these files. If you hit setup.exe, hit yes. Now it's not going to give me the option to install it because it's already installed, but it does give us the option to remove it if it's already installed. Now let's go ahead and install it. So you accept the terms, which is basically don't sell this. Submit. And then go ahead and hit install and let it do its thing, and it installs. Alright, so that's basically it. It's now has the icon and it has installed the folder to your documents. Let's open up Windows and show you one more thing, or I should say Internet, and then go to the Infosheets.com. That's our website. Alright, so this is our database, and we'll go ahead, and the most recent one is the one I'm working on now, so it pops up as the main one. But if you don't see that, look in, actually it's in this folder here. And then go down here and you'll see that to purchase. And if you want to, you can also download the trial version. And that is free, but it's fully functional, but it's limited to 10 customers before it'll reach its maximum. There's one other thing you need to do, and that's install on your computer Microsoft Access Runtime. Now, all databases are basically, a database designed is very complicated. So they use some programming from the back, and that be either an SQL server or Access or something else. But they'll either have that put into the program, or in my case, I have it so you install it separately outside of the program. So basically just download that from Microsoft and have that running on your computer, and everything will work. And it's absolutely free from Microsoft. You can also use 2010 if you prefer. I prefer Access 2007 over 2010's version, but you can run either runtime and they'll work. And that's about it. So just download that and it'll all work. And if you're going to give a backup to your data entry person, have them also install that. And that will work on their computer as well. All right. Let me pop it back up here. So I think that you can see that this database is very complete. It's very well made, and it has everything that you pretty much need to store your customer information. It'll give you all the reports, then also separate them by income, and it has a very clean interface. You're not going all over the place to get something entered. This is your customer, and this is the next customer, and so on. So you just, when you do data entry, you hit the search box, you find the customer, you enter the job. If they aren't a job, if they're not in there, just add new. And then you've pretty much made your database to have your customer information. If you already have some customers, then go ahead and use the import video that was shown from our database. Please download a trial version and see if you like it. And if so, it's available for the $50. There's nothing else to purchase, no monthly, no yearly fees. And I think by having a database, you'll be able to make your business grow and get profitable. And having that information every time you have it with you, you're better able to serve your customers and you're more likely to generate sales. So it's a very important part of doing business is to having information. All right? So this has been John Hilbrands with theinfosheets.com. I hope your business will grow. Thank you. Bye-bye.